What's up, guys? Nintendo Nick here, and welcome back to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, this game came out back on March 3rd and was a launch title for the Switch, but it also did come out for the Wii U, which it originally was supposed to. And it's a really fun and unique type of Zelda game, very different than the other Zelda games. It's a very massive area of terrain that you get to, where it's like an open world once you get the paraglider, which is after you complete these 4 shrines. But other than that, once you do that, you can basically go wherever you want, and it's a massive area that you have to kind of play around with and basically do whatever you want, which is really cool. But yeah, this game is like, I think, 10 times bigger than Twilight Princess, and Twilight Princess was a pretty big game, so 10 times bigger is really an achievement in the Zelda franchise. But yeah, like I said before though, this game is very different. You gather your own swords, you gather your own shields, your bows, your arrows. You basically just acquire them from enemies and in the area, and basically just use your survival skills and just take whatever you can find. You even like can cook food and like find like mushrooms and apples to feed yourself to regain hearts, which I found a little bit overpowered, because like maybe you were low on HP, you can just click the start menu and get back to full HP. So it is a bit overpowered in my opinion, but there are a lot of shots that are one-hit kills, which I found kind of annoying, but that was in the beginning of the game, because once later on you get better armor and more hearts, and a lot of things really aren't one-hit kills. I don't even think there are any. But yeah, this game is very different. There are these things called shrines, which are like mini dungeons, and there's 120 of them. But yeah, there's a lot of collectibles in this game, a lot of replay value. It can take up to 40 minutes or as long as you want for this game, because there's so much things to do. But it depends on what you want to do. You could just go ahead and face and fight Ganon right away. Like, there's speedrunners who've done it in like under 40 minutes, which is crazy. And but you could also just do what you're supposed to do and get all the collectibles, and it can take over a week of hours to complete it. So yeah, but this game is really awesome for that fact. You can find a bunch of random stuff, and there's always stuff to do, and it's really cool. But yeah, right when you start the game, you get some clothes, and then you get to do 4 shrines, which you unlock these things for your Sheikah tablet, which is what you use to it's kind of like your item selection screen, where you can use magnesis, stasis, bombs, and a couple other things to kind of help you solve puzzles and also fight enemies too. But yeah, once you do that, you also get the paraglider, and basically any place you see you can go to, like I said. And yeah, this game is very difficult, like I said before. You start out with 3 hearts and very weak armor, which are just highly enclosed, and have 1 armor, but you can get better armor at villages later on that will help you tremendously. And you can even upgrade them with fairy fountains that you'll find later that can help out even more to prevent you from one-hit kills, because there are a lot of one-hit kills in this game, and it is kind of annoying. But once you get enough hearts from the shrines, or get really good armor from the villages, you'll be good. But yeah, so with the shrines, every 4 shrines you complete, you get to increase your stamina gauge, and or get a heart container. So basically you have a stamina gauge in this game, kind of like it was similar to Skyward Sword, where you had this stamina gauge when you ran, so that Link would run faster, and he would just run out of stamina pretty easily. But you could actually upgrade it if you want to once you beat 4 shrines, and you go to the, I think it's like one of the goddess statues, and you pray to it, and they'll give you either a heart container or a stamina vessel, and you get to choose what you want to have. You can max out your hearts, or you can max out your stamina, but you can't max out both with the amount of shrines that you get. But you can actually have temporary hearts, which after making like certain foods, you can make some foods that will give you temporary hearts, which after losing you can't regain back basically, but you can keep regaining, I guess, temporary hearts if you want to. But yeah, in this game there are 4 major dungeons, which are the Divine Beast, and it's kind of similar to Majora's Mask, in where Majora's Mask there was only 4 dungeons and a lot of side quests, and it kind of reminds me, this game kind of does remind me of Majora's Mask, where you don't really know what's going on, what this world is, but in this game you kind of try and find your memories, because Link doesn't know what happened 100 years ago, and that's basically what you're trying to find out. But yeah, in this game though there are a lot of side quests and a lot of things to do. There are these things called Korok seeds, where if you get a certain amount you'll be able to increase your inventory of your weapons, or your shields or your bows, which is pretty cool. It is annoying though that you have a certain amount of swords or shields that you can hold, because it can be pretty annoying, but it kind of balances the game, in which you can hold a certain amount of like weapons so that you don't keep using the same weapon, and like so that you don't, I guess, don't like beat like tough enemies by having infinite weapons basically. But yeah, there is the Master Sword in this game, and it is also breakable like the other weapons and shields, and but you do regain it back though after a certain amount of time. So it's one of the unbreakable weapons, which there are a few. They are after you defeat some Divine Beast you get some, and then you have the Master Sword. So yeah, the puzzles in this game can be a little bit hard or annoying, but like there are some ones that use motion, where you have to like tilt a certain area to get like a ball across or something like that, which are a bit annoying, but they're not that bad. You will figure them out in like a couple minutes or so. But yeah, you have infinite tries, so there's not really much of a downside. This game does autosave, so that's also a good thing, so that you don't have to like maybe your Switch dies, or you don't have to restart from the beginning. You do have to restart from your save point, but the nice thing is that it keeps auto-saving, so it's not one of those games where you have to keep saving, so that you have to watch out before you, in case you die, so that you go to the last place that you've been, like the latest place. But in this game it auto-saves for you, so that's very nice. Yeah, as for the Divine Beast, the 4 major dungeons, they are a bit difficult, and they have their own like uniqueness to them, where they all have like a certain ability that you can like mess around with, because you're inside this giant like mechanical animal, and you can actually change like the way it moves. Like you can, like if it's an elephant one, you can change the snout. If it's like the salamander one, you can rotate it to the left or to the right to solve some pretty unique puzzles, which is actually really fun. And the Divine Beasts are actually probably the best part, and I did really like them. And once you do beat the Divine Beast, there is a boss, and you do get a special power which will help you defeat Ganon. Like one of them is like a free revive, another one is like a shield protector thing, and then like another one gives you like the power to make an updraft so that you can get to like a high ground, because when you use your bow in the air you can actually slow down time, but it costs stamina, which is also a pretty cool thing that you can do. So yeah, when you jump off of any platform and you pull out your bow, you can slow motion it and snipe some pretty cool enemies. But yeah, as for the enemies, they are permanently dead, but the way that they respawn is by a blood moon, which is a red moon that rarely occurs, and when it does, it revives all the enemies. So it's a pretty cool way of respawning enemies, and it really happens. So it's actually pretty cool that you can have enemies like be dead for a pretty long time. But yeah, it's actually a good way of respawning though, because I think you also get their weapons back. So if they're holding a good weapon, you can always just take it back. And yeah, so as for the villages, there are, I think, a few villages. Like there's probably 4 or 5 in the game, and each one has a lot of side quests and has like a shrine next to it. And Kakariko Village, I think, is the only one that has a Great Fairy, but the other Great Fairies are in different areas. But yeah, like the villages really aren't that special. It just has a lot of side quests, and it has better armor. So like the harder it is to get to that village, it's usually the better armor that they have in the shop. But you can also get armor from the shrines too. Some shrines will like have special gear which might help you throughout the game. Like they'll have cold resistant gear, which will help you throughout the cold. They'll have heat resistant, which will help you through the heat, and they'll have like shock resistant, which will help you not get struck by lightning. Or they'll have like climbing gear, where you can not be so you can climb faster. Which is another thing I want to mention, is that you can basically climb any surface except for like the guardian, like I guess the shrine area. Like you can't really climb in that area, like inside the shrines, because it would be pretty easy to finish most of the puzzles if you were able to do that. But anywhere outside in the open world, you are basically able to climb any surface, as long as it's not raining, because when it's raining, it's slippery and you'll fall, which is probably one of the most annoying parts about this game, is that if it's raining, you basically can't climb any surface. So you have to either wait it out, or just get lucky, or teleport to somewhere else, or do something else. But basically you can't do anything, and it's kind of annoying. But there are some tricks to get past it. Like I found a trick where you jump, and then you wait till it fall down, and then you climb up a couple steps and then jump again, but you'll gain like very little height. Like if it's something really high, it will almost be impossible to climb up it in the rain. But yeah, other than that, there is a lot of hunting, a lot of collecting in this game. Like I said before, the Korok seeds, I think there are 900 in the game, but only I think 200 or 400 are usable, while the others are just for collecting purposes, which is really annoying. And then when you get all of them, you get this really trolly item, and it's not even used for anything. It's just called Hestu's Gift, which is basically a golden piece of poop, which is just really stupid. Like, you go through all that and you get a piece of poop. So yeah, some of these collectibles, they're out there, but they are either really annoying to get or you get nothing out of them. So yeah, the only thing that I recommend doing is doing all the shrines. Other than that, nothing else is kind of required. Also, the towers, there are towers in the game that are also there, and when you do that, you get the map of the area, which is very helpful in my opinion. You can use the map the map is actually very useful. You can put stamps everywhere so you can memorize or like remember, like if there's a certain shrine that you can't get to and you need like a certain type of weapon, or you need like cold resistance wear or like heat resistance wear, or like there's a shrine that you couldn't figure out how to get, you can just stamp it on your map and problem solved. Basically, you just come back to it later. There are some other, which I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, yeah, there's shield surfing, as you can see right here, which is actually a pretty cool detail they added. I know you could do that in Twilight Princess, but in this game you can shield surf any type of shield that you have, anywhere and anytime. So it's pretty cool, and I really did enjoy it. It's basically a faster way to get to places, but it doesn't use any stamina, which is pretty cool. But the fact that you are breaking your shield is a bit annoying. But if you have like a shield that's unbreakable, like the Hylian shield, then you can just kind of shield that thing for a long time, or ride it for a long time, as long as you have like a downslope. Like if you are just standing on like a flat surface, it won't really work, but if you're like in a snowy area, like on a mountain, it will work pretty well, unless you're going up the mountain, of course. There is also amiibo usage in this game. Most of them really don't do anything. There is Wolf Link, as you can see on the screen right here, and he's probably the most useful, but other amiibo that are not really Zelda amiibo will just give you food and like items or like weapons and stuff like that. But like Zelda amiibo will like give you special stuff. Like I know the Link Smash amiibo will give you a Epona, and I think like the Zelda amiibo will give you like some like special like outfit and stuff like that. There are a couple special outfits that are exclusive to amiibo, but they're not really that good of armor. They're just for looks, kind of. But yeah, probably the most useful one is getting a Epona from the Link Smash amiibo, which is another thing. There are a lot of stables in this game where you can adopt like horses and stuff. I think you can have up to 3 or 4, and you can name them, and you can call them. They can't like teleport to you. You have to actually go to them or go to a stable to get them back, and they can be a bit annoying. Like I got like one of them stuck in like this river, and it was a bit annoying. But other than that, they kind of stay on track, because there are like pathways on the map as if you see them, and if you just like stay on the track and you just press the A button, you don't even have to steer. The horse will go on the path, which is pretty cool. So you can just sit back and relax and just press the A button to go faster, and the horse will go on the path, which is pretty cool. I do like most of the puzzles in this game, whether it's in the shrines or the divine beasts. But yeah, there also are other collectibles. There are the memories, which there are 12 of that Impa give to you, that you have to like find certain locations, which are a bit annoying to find. Like they are kind of random and difficult to find if you don't know what you're looking for. And But once you do that, you actually don't get anything from it, or you don't get anything from defeating all 4 divine beasts. But you do get and then like if you go back to Impa, she won't give you anything. But once you get the 12 memories, there's actually a secret 13th one, which is kind of annoying because usually you do the divine beast first, because one of the memories is actually near the boss area. So yeah, it's kind of annoying that you go to Impa, like maybe defeat the divine beast, but you don't get anything. But for the memories, there's a secret 13th one that she hides for you, and you need that in order to get the good ending. So yeah, there's actually 2 endings in this game: the good ending and the bad ending. There is some DLC too, which apparently is going to give a new story to it. I might review that later. But yeah, the ending's actually pretty bad. It's not really that good, and the final boss is pretty easy, I also have to admit. Especially if you do all 4 divine beasts. Like, even speedrunners don't really have that big of a problem with it either, and they're speedrunning the game with 3 hearts and no clothes. So yeah, that's just showing that the final boss is pretty easy, and that you don't really need to fight the divine beasts to defeat Ganon. But yeah, it's really like weird though. I guess it's kind of making it like equal, so that the final boss is easy but also hard, so that you can beat it anytime you want. Because like the first main quest that you get is destroy Ganon, and you can just do it right when you get the paraglider. But yeah, other than that, there are a lot of great areas that you can go to. Some of them they are kind of restricted. Like, there are like some cold areas where you need either heat resist or cold resistance food, or you need cold resistance armor. And some of them can be hard to find. Like, you need to double up sometimes if it's like really cold area or a really hot area. You need heat resistance, so it can be annoying. And also because the armor for the heat resistance or the cold resistance isn't really that good, so if you're fighting an enemy, you kind of can't really defeat that, or like you will have a hard time defending yourself because you won't have that good of an armor, because you have to use cold resistance or heat resistance. So I found that a bit annoying, and constantly changing the armor, and that there wasn't really any quick selection for the armor. There is quick selection for the shield, the sword, the bow, and the arrows, which I forgot to mention that there are different types of arrows. Like, you have the fire arrows, the normal arrows, the ice arrows, shock arrows, and bomb arrows. Also guardian arrows. But yeah, later on in the game though, you'll have better armor and or better swords and shields that will be more powerful and will not break as easily, which is a pretty cool way of, I guess, making it better by showing progression, showing how you're getting stronger, and that you get better weapons, and those better weapons also have better durability, which makes sense. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. This game is the graphics are really good. It was a bit annoying that there wasn't really much music to this game. It was just all nature, kind of. There really wasn't any like intense music. There was like intense music like at Hyrule Castle, or like for the bosses, or for I think even the Divine Beast had some good music. But other than that, in most of the areas, like even the shrines, had like no music, and it was a bit annoying, but it made it like more lifelike and more peaceful, so it wasn't really a big deal for me. But it wasn't like other Zeldas where you have like these happy like music, like Kakariko Village, or like I Lost Woods and stuff like that. There are some like town melodies, but they're kind of faint. Like I feel like most of the music in this game is very low volume or low key, and you hear like the wildlife more, which I guess is pretty good because like you can hunt down animals and get food by them, and it just feels like more lifelike, and it's really amazing. Um, but yeah, it was actually pretty fun playing on the Switch. I don't know about the Wii U version, but the Switch, having it as portable and having it on the go and also having it on the TV was a great experience, and it is a great game to have as portably because there's so much to do in this game, and I spent like over 70 hours in this game, and that was just the basics, just beating the Divine Beast, the shrines, and the final boss. That's not mentioning like all the Korok seeds. Like there's like the Hylian completion, like you have to take pictures and stuff. There's like a bunch of stuff that you have to do on the map, like visit every area, and a lot of annoying stuff that you don't have to do, but it's required for 100%, but it's a bit annoying if you really want to do it. But other than that, there really isn't much else to talk about. The abilities in this game, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Like there's a lot of unique stuff, like you can use octo balloons and like a lot of ways to solve different puzzles and to defeat enemies. It's like a lot of different ways to do it, which is really awesome because in previous Zelda games you could really only use your items or your swords, or actually only your one sword, because in most Zeldas you only have one sword. But in this game you have so much more, and there's a lot more possibilities to it. But yeah, there's also the ability to fast travel to any shrine location or tower location, which is pretty cool. And I recommend going to the tower location because on top of that tower you can just paraglide to almost any area in the area, I guess I should say. Some of the towers are pretty hard to get to. Like there's one in the water where it's surrounded by like these fish enemies that are pretty tough, and they actually electrify the area. And there's like lightning pose and all that stuff, and that one's probably the hardest, but the towers are pretty hard to get to. There is also a shrine detector. You get that once you complete 2 towers, which is the first one being in the Great Plateau, which is the area you start in, and any other one you'll get detectors that will go off for when a shrine's nearby. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. So thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews right here on Tell Nick. Bye.